Yeah, look, the whole purpose of us, taking action into the courts is to provide some check to this administration because Congress clearly is not doing it. And that's why I said that if Congress is not going to step up to provide check and balance to this administration, the city of Chicago most certainly will.
The steps Illinois is taking to try to put some teeth to the illustrious sub 10% approval rating, the powerless illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, to his vacuous words.
No one, including a federal agent, is above the law. So if you see this occurring anywhere, call or email our hotline.
The warning follows reports that ICE agents have been changing plates.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, yesterday's story about Chicago. In yesterday's story, the thumbnail said, powerless to stop it. Now, who's powerless to stop what? Well, first of all, we're talking about your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago. You see him on the screen looking illustrious and sub 10% and also powerless to stop anything. So as you're going to see today, y'all, in this video, he says that if Congress won't stand up to the president and stop the overreach, well, Chicago will. And you know, when he says Chicago, he's talking about himself. But the problem is he doesn't have any power. Like, okay, let's not say zero. He has next to no power, okay? The amount of power he has is practically zilch, none. So how is he going to stand up to the federal government? Well, in this video today, y'all, I'm going to show you some steps that Illinois is taking, not the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, because again, he's just a mayor. He can't do anything. Illinois has a little bit more power, so I'm going to show you some steps that Illinois is taking to try to push back against Trump. And I'm going to give you a little hint. Some of this to me looks like a threat. Some of this to me looks like a threat to ICE agents saying basically, we might not be able to do anything right now because Trump's in office. So that to me is a huge admission, right? We can't do anything right now. But when Trump's out of office, he won't be there forever. Oh, we're going to come and get you. That's essentially the way I read this. And the Illinois governor has said as much. But even though he's powerless, your boy, that illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor, he continues to make threats anyway. Y'all, today we're going to see how Illinois is accusing ICE of switching license plates and saying, y'all can't do that. And also a new change that the Trump administration made that allows them to hold people who are in the country without permission, to hold them without a bond, y'all. This is major. So y'all, I'm not going to do any more lead up. First, we're going to hear from your boy, the powerless illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago. We're going to hear his threats. Then we're going to go ahead to see what Illinois is attempting to do to stop ICE from doing their job, y'all. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, we have a new webpage for my people out there who are like, yo, I have money, but I don't want to give it away to the people who are trying to take it. How can I protect my retirement? Y'all, gold. How many times do I have to tell you? Gold has been man's longest monetary best friend for 5,000 years. I mean, what else are you looking for? Go to our webpage. Go to the new webpage, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on how to protect your retirement. And you can call 844-651-8334 and speak to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Now let's go ahead and hop into this content.
Yeah, look, the whole purpose of us, taking action into the courts is to provide some check to this administration because Congress clearly is not doing it. And that's why I said that if Congress is not going to step up to provide check and balance to this administration, the city of Chicago most certainly will. Of course, these are concerns. Chicagoans all over the city are concerned about, will we be able to maintain the level of investments that have created opportunities for more young people, that have expanded mental health, that has put forth, more investments to build more affordable housing. And then the fact that these investments have lowered crime in Chicago. These are critical investments that we cannot afford to take a step backward. So are there concerns? Absolutely. But here's the other thing that's important. Every single lawsuit that we have taken to the court on behalf of the people of Chicago, we've won. And so we fully expect that the courts will understand their authority to make sure that there's some check and some balance to this president that is clearly working outside of the bounds of his constitutional authority.
Now, before we get to the steps Illinois is taking to try to put some teeth to the illustrious sub 10% approval rating, the powerless illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, to his vacuous words, I want y'all to be aware of something. Okay, this is something that you might not have known. You might have heard how the courts are. Did you just hear him say, we're winning all of our court cases? Well, you might not have known that the immigration courts do not fall under the judicial branch. They fall under the executive branch. So what does that mean? That means Donald Trump is the head of the immigration court system. Let that sink in.
Cheryl, it was a quiet decision released last month that could impact millions of people in the country. A change to how immigration laws are enforced could mean anyone arrested will remain detained until they are deported. But some attorneys are now pushing back. This week, the federal government said in court that since July, more than 1,800 people have been arrested in the Chicago area. But having their day in court is not a guarantee. The immigration court is convoluted. It does not fall under the judicial branch. It falls under the executive branch. Separate from criminal court, a person's rights are much more limited. ABC 7 Chief Legal Analyst Gil Sofer.
The proceedings in an immigration court, they're not criminal, they're civil. The question isn't whether someone has committed a crime. The question is whether they can be deported. And the rights are different.
Now, a new immigration court directive could keep people detained much longer before they're deported. In September, the Board of Immigration Appeals, the top administrative body which interprets and applies immigration laws, released a new decision. For the first time in American history, the court ruled immigration judges can no longer grant bond for undocumented immigrants who enter the U.S. without authorization, all but guaranteeing mandatory detention for those detained.
It is a monumental decision. It's a change in approach for sure.
DHS calling the ruling, quote, a big win for our ICE attorneys, securing our ability to detain illegal aliens until they are deported. But immigration advocates and attorneys say it's a total sea change.
It overturned decades of case law, of regulations and laws.
Judge Payton is a former assistant chief immigration judge who was fired by the Trump administration this past July. She says without cause. Now she's in private practice and says undocumented people seeking a bond hearing have to hire an attorney like her to file petitions in federal court outside of immigration court to try to get relief.
Demanding that the federal courts review the decision of the immigration court and tell them that they're wrong and they should hold a bond hearing.
So with that said, Donald Trump, he has control over the immigration courts. And you see what he said? He said, no more bond for y'all. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know down in the comments, y'all. How do you feel about the no more bond situation and the fact that the president can unilaterally say that? And if people do want a bond, they have to then go to the actual judicial branch to have the judicial branch tell the immigration courts to give that person a bond. That's where we stand today. Now, with all of this in the air, y'all, you have a couple of things that Illinois is doing. One thing is that their Secretary of State is telling ICE that they have to stop swapping and switching license plates, y'all. Now, my question is, what will be the penalty if ICE just says, we're going to switch and swap, we're going to swap and switch, and then after we swap and switch and switch and swap, we're going to switch, swippity, swap. I mean, what is this is the thing about federalism and state versus federal power. At the end of the day, what is Illinois prepared to do? That's the question.
Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias is warning federal immigration agents that swapping license plates is illegal, and it's something that will not be tolerated.
No one, including a federal agent, is above the law. So if you see this occurring anywhere, call or email our hotline.
The warning follows reports that ICE agents have been changing plates during operations in the Chicago area. Giannoulias is encouraging people to report plate tampering by calling that new Plate Watch hotline you see there at the bottom of your screen. We'll also have this information at cbschicago.com.
And finally, I know y'all have all been waiting to hear from your boy, Governor Pritzker. Yeah, you got a new boy. Congratulations. I know you've been waiting to hear from him and how he's saying, we're going to write down everything. We're going to document. We're going to take pictures. We're going to make a database. And when we get back in power, you already know he's talking about prosecuting people. So he signed an executive order today, essentially threatening to prosecute ICE officers, y'all. Yep, that happened. Take a look.
9:09 right now. Let's go to Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker speaking right now as he prepares to sign an executive order around federal enforcement in the state.
To ensure today, I'm signing an executive order creating the Illinois Accountability Commission, a body dedicated to truth, transparency, and justice. The commission will be charged with 3 core missions. 1, creating a public record of the abuses. 2, capturing the impact on families and communities. And 3, recommending actions to prevent further harm and to pursue justice.
So yeah, people, it's treacherous out there on them streets right now. You have the federal versus state situation. You have your boy, that illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, saying Chicago is going to do something when they have nothing that they can do. But of course, it sounds good, particularly when you're talking to people who want you to do something. You say, yeah, we're going to do something. Well, what's that? Well, what's that? No, there's nothing you can do. You're powerless to stop it. Then you have the state that they do have more power on the state level. So what are you going to do? We're going to write all of this down and take pictures and we're going to document it. Okay. Well, that doesn't stop anything, but if you do get power again, maybe then it's your turn for retribution. I mean, is that the country we live in now? Just going to flip flop back and forth with each side taking each other to court and trying to lock people up and throw each other in jail. I mean, is that what started in 2021? You know, with the whole, you already know. Y'all, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. To my people that retirement, go down, click the link, the first link in the description, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on protecting your retirement from the upsies, downsies, the roundsies, and the roundsies. You can also reach out to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Now, y'all, in case you didn't know, we do have a second channel. It's the PIW Paralegal Reacts channel. I just did a video about the loop puncher. We had done a video previously, but the video of the attack was just released a couple of days ago, and I reacted to that. So you can look on your screen now, click on that video, watch it, give it a like, and give it a subscribe on that channel as well, y'all. Want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.